Today's video is sort of a weird topic. I don't like putting companies on the spot on my channel. I don't like sponsorships. I don't like sellouts. I don't like all that weird crap per se. But there seems to be sort of a weird phenomenon going on with Aqueon's 65-gallon tank. And I've had multiple people reach out to me, and I actually got a viewer submission today talking about having two of these tanks leak. And let's just jump to the viewer submission.
Chris, what's going on, man? It's Christopher here. As you know, I'm a huge fan of the channel, and on your channel I've seen you do a few different videos about fish tanks from big box stores. So I wanted to give you a chance to see my fish tank from a big box store. This is a Marineland 60-gallon ensemble from PetSmart. What makes this tank unique though is it is my third tank this week. I originally bought a 65-gallon tall by Aqueon. It was also an ensemble, came with a stand and a hood. First night, that tank blew and flooded my living room. So I called up PetSmart. They were awesome about it. They replaced it, no questions asked, just exchanged it for me. Come home, set up the new replacement tank. Within 48 hours, that one blew too. 2 times now my living room gets flooded in 1 week. So the third time I went back, I was not about to take another Aqueon, so I went with the Marineland 60. And honestly, I'm liking it even more. One, it's not leaking all over my floor, and it's working out good for me. I was just wondering if you have also heard about this happening. If you check the reviews for this tank, which I should have done first, it seems like it's more common than not.
Thanks for the kind words, brother. Fish keepers unite, right? So this is a weird thing to talk about. These Aqueon 65-gallon tanks, they're leaking. So it's like, I started researching this from an outsider aspect. I needed to start from ground zero. So I immediately went to where they're sold. For the most part, these tanks are being sold at our big chain pet store known as PetSmart. And this is the complete ensemble right here. I'm pretty sure you can pick a couple of different choices as far as stands, but it's essentially the tank footprint is the same size as a 40-gallon breeder, except it's a lot taller in height. So my first question is that water volume in the height putting more pressure on the seams? Is there not enough silicone? I immediately start asking questions as to why the tanks are leaking on people. And if you visit their website, it's actually full of bad reviews, which is crazy. If you jump on PetSmart.com and search for the 65-gallon tank ensemble, it is 36 inches wide by 18 deep and super tall. I forget how tall it is. It's $300 for me right now. It's going to depend on what time of year and where you live. But as you can see, there's more 1-star reviews than there are 5-star reviews. And guys, I hate doing this, but the review section is full of tanks that are leaking, and I hate outing companies like this, but at least I'm kind of helping the public as far as helping other hobbyists. And maybe Aqueon needs to recall this tank, and if I can help kind of bring some eyes to the fact that this tank has been leaking on people. This does suck. I hate that the fact that this even happens in this hobby, because it's super scary and it makes you kind of think about all of your other tanks. I personally have 2 of these tanks in the shop right now, and it kind of makes me want to just reseal them with a lot more silicone, because it's really, why are these tanks leaking? That's the question. Some of you might remember when I had to reseal this 6-foot tank, and I always tell people when I reseal tanks, I always use a lot more silicone. Even though in the planted tank world, it's really cool, it's kind of the in thing to have it look like there's no silicone at all, I would rather have a buttload of silicone. And yes, this is a little sloppy here. I maybe would have taped here, and I was in a rush. I had fish all over. It's always kind of the same story. But guys, maybe there's not enough silicone on these tanks. I don't know. Let's go out in the shop and take a look at my 65-gallon tanks. This is one of my Aqueon 65-gallon tanks right here. And I had it downstairs for the longest time ever. And I had the electric blue Jack Dempsey's in here. I had Severums in here. Like this has a story to it. And to be honest with you, the silicone seam actually looks pretty wide. Even though this is torn away, I don't like the look of that. But I'm pretty used to, you know, I live a different life than a lot of other people do. I have kind of like an industrial setup, whereas, you know, when the shop is going and downstairs in my fish room, if a tank leaks, it just goes on the concrete. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Also, I think I have another 65 gallon. Oh, here it is right here, yeah. Or maybe this is the tank that was downstairs. And whoa, this one has black silicone. So maybe this is a Marineland 65 gallon tank. So there's a chance that you have a 65 gallon tank, but it's not, let me see here. They both have center braces and they're probably an identical tank, except the silicone is different. That's worth noting. So maybe Marineland shouldn't get a bad rap for these tanks just because Aqueon does. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comment section. I didn't realize that in the shop there I had back-to-back different brands of the 65 gallon tanks. One side was the Marineland with the black silicone and the other side was the Aqueon. And I gotta say, personally looking at them, my opinion per se, the silicone on the Marineland does look thicker. Even though the span of the Aqueon silicone is decent, it feels super thin, and you could see in that video, it almost was peeling away because it was so thin. Anyways, guys, I figured I had to blast this video. Let me know what you think. Please don't kill me, PetSmart or Aqueon. This sucks in the hobby in general, so it's